Right. Good morning. Let's see, where's my water? Where's my tea? Wow, 7 o'clock already. Well, weather changed. I have a bit of a headache this morning. I don't know if it's going to get better or worse today. I hope the headache goes away. All right, let's see how far we can get. Oh, right. Okay. Oh, so last night I was playing around with the buyer telemetry bits. Um, VFS initializes buyer. We load the config. We do not use a file. We just load from the environment, trying to populate our app settings. Not much is in there. Application just has a mutation file path. Now, the issue that was happening was this function is getting called for every thread of the outer application, right? The DB pool. There we go. That sweet Mr. Halsey background noise while I write bad code. There's a balance in the universe again. Oh man. I think that's why I listen to the Museum stream. All right. Now in this case, we have all of the tracing and metrics, everything turned off. You'll notice that there is not um, the endpoint defined in each one of these, which means that it's a none. You can't handle the weeb tunes. I actually like the K-pop stuff. I like to listen to music that kind of has lyrics, but I don't understand. Um, I also like listening to like oh, what was it? There was this metal band. Uh, that was like it's like a Nordic metal cello. Oh yes, Apocalyptica. Haha. I used to listen to these guys all the time. They play cello. That's it. And it is awesome. Fun fact: cellos didn't used to have the bottom peg, so you had to hold it with your thighs. You have to like constantly just hold it with your legs. Oh, yeah. Oh, you knew the bottom peg thing. Yeah. Oh man, trying to stretch my neck out. It's either the weather's changing or I had caffeine 3 days ago and didn't realize it. Your wife is a classically trained violinist. You couldn't escape factoids like that even if you wanted to. That's fair. That's fair. What's the difference between a violin and a fiddle? Hmm? She's a doctor of physical therapy. Oh, it's just that I have a tension headache in the back of my neck. Right, kind of crawls up each side of the neck, up into the back, the base of your head. Do chin tucks? Yeah, that's what I was doing just a moment ago. Oh, that sounds medical. Sabacipitals. Sabacipitals? Hmm. Yeah. All right. And I get this if I'm coming off of caffeine. It takes about 3 days, and then I'll get these tension headaches. That's what I call it, right on the back of the head. Um, Shoulders are rolled back, and your scapulas are almost touching at the. Really? Hmm. Wow. Sometimes I get it from the weather, the weather changes and that happens. But I think it's just the caffeine. I think the weather thing is just me not realizing that I've just come off of caffeine. All right. You also get them? Man, the shoulder and the scapula touching, that's a great tip because it feels very different when you do that. It's actually much harder to tuck your chin further. Man, I appreciate the tip. I can feel it actually in the right side of my back on like the inside of the scapula between it and the spine. Oh, all right. The phone plugged in, the tea poured, pretzel rocks playing chill guitars, different positions. Rotate the neck around and find the position that has the most resistance. Yeah. Normally I'll kind of roll side to side to find the stretch, right? It's a great tip. Thank you. Ooh, I do have a like the big, Yeah. Hook that takes people off a stage. I've got one of those. Yeah. All right. I don't have one here, so maybe later I'll try that with it. I'm gonna try just the scapula pinch. More of that. All right. So we're setting the telemetry for our structure. You can see we have reverb here. I'm going to change the capitalization here. It doesn't matter. It checks it case insensitive. And then we're really interested in setting the console level here. Now, I don't have a fantastic way of passing this through other than via some other environment variable, which we might change it to in a bit. But the VFS is actually really fast to compile. If I'm anything like you, probably could like an absolute shrimp and probably have really tight scalenes. Scalings. I don't even know what a scaling is. Ooh, interesting. I don't know. Yeah, probably. Hmm. It doesn't make the front of my neck feel tight. Wait, let me try that again. Let me. Maybe not so much. It's not like the back of the neck. All right, all right. But great tips. Great tips. Let's pop into the code. Okay, so new learnings. This function is called for every thread by the pool. So if we go to notes, we have thread pool or SQLite pool. And I haven't been able to create 5 of them yet, but I've been able to get up to 2. Um, Fix me. Pass console level through from other environment variable. Okay, we'll get back to that. Little love note for future me. What else? Ah, yes. This. So last night, as I was sitting in a car, telemetry, get or init. We're actually using a, was it cell lock? Once lock. I store a result into it just so that I can handle the error outside because I couldn't handle the error inside. But it doesn't really matter. What matters is init can only be called once. And then I found that I was having issues with, well, okay, I'm telling the story backwards. Um, but I also found that I was having issues storing the telemetry in the reverb state. Um, reverb state is allocated by Rust. We're creating a new one. We're constructing an object here. Reverb is allocated using memory from SQLite. We call malloc using SQLite malloc. Reverb state should be doing the same thing because it has to persist. We could try to do something fancy with it. I tried playing with manually drop. You can see that's still there. However, this never actually gets called, which means that reverb state never drops. And the reason for this, I believe, is that I haven't hooked up the shutdown. Okay. There is an init, but there does not appear to be like a shutdown. But let's double check that. Cloud-backed SQLite document. What is this? Oh, that's bright. Where's our... There we go. Ah, this is not it. Okay. SQLite library. How to close the VFS. Let's go to the forum and just do a search. I do not remember reading anything about it in the documentation, but let's do a quick check and then to the forum. No, VFS. What is it called? SQLite 3. That's just going to be all of the API. Check some VFS show. So we call register. Okay. Unregister. Interesting. Okay. VFS register and unregistered in that way. And what are we calling? We are calling, so we have init and where is it? In reverb new, we call, we set it up, register. So we do call VFS register with our VFS, and we pass the number 1 make default. So we are calling make default with it. Each new VFS becomes a default VFS if the make default flag is set. The same VFS can be registered multiple times without injury. That's what we're doing. To make an existing VFS the default VFS. Yeah, I wonder if we should be doing that multiple times though. Register it again with the make default flag set. If two different VFSs with the same name are registered, behavior is undefined. Got it. Yeah, how do we shut down? I don't see anything there. Let's go back to the documentation support. Public forums. Here we go. Shut down VFS. Not much. Oh, here we go. SQLite 3 binary does not unregister extensions /VFS at exit. What year is this from? 2021. Okay. Yes. Now I probably will have to fix this by registering add exit handlers to tear down stuff. Okay. Unsatisfactory. Seems to me that any library that is unable to deal with abrupt process termination is broken. Cleanup on process termination should be the responsibility of the library itself, or the operating system, not the application. It's possible we could have an add exit handlers for Ceph library process. Bug withdrawn. Okay. How do we register add exit handlers for Rust? Exits, let's see. Oh, look at that. In its current implementation, this function will execute exit handlers registered with add exit. How do we register with add exit? Oh, man, shipmaster is everywhere in Stack Overflow. In the general case, it's impossible. Even ignoring flags from outside the program. Whoever compiles the final binary can choose if a panic actually triggers stack unwinding. Okay. In the case of unwinding panic or normal exit, you can implement drop and use conventional aspects of RAII. Interesting. Okay. So if we need to rely on drop, or if this is the, you know, air quotes, correct way, then we're currently we're currently broken the VFSs. So I suspect that where is it? Da, da, da. We want drop to be called on shutdown. So let's get drop being called at shutdown. That does mean that we should probably do this whole registering bit once. That'll be interesting. Where is that? Sorry, I'm flicking the screen around too much. Reverb state. Yep. Here. Yeah, I tossed a vector in there just to see if it would do something with shutdown. It didn't. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Ending with Ollie. How are ya? Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. It's good to see you all. I hope your Friday is going well. So here we tend to have a bit of a chill stream. We just program in Rust, listen to some guitar at the background. So I'm going to explain a little bit where we are in the project. So I'm going to get a mono draw here. It has a little bit of a brightness to it. So please forgive the brightness here as we explain this. Currently, we are working on the SQLite VFS. And speak with a deep bassy voice. I try. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Finally sorted a DB deadlock. Ooh, nice. What language? All right. So, we have a SQLite VFS. The goal of this project is to build my wife a website. Okay. Now, I've been a front-end engineer for a long time. I happen to like back-end engineering technologies. I work in back-end engineering technologies. At the moment, this is our goal. It's a long road to building a website for my wife. Okay. Oh, your DB deadlock was with PHP and Postgres. Uh, thousands of transactions. Yeah. Oh, that's a challenge. And Daniel, thank you for the follow. Okay. So to build my wife a website, I need it to be scalable, but scalable on the cheap, right? I need it running on, bare bones systems that don't take a lot of CPU, so I'm trying to shave off as much as I can, right? So memory allocation, stuff like that, it needs to be tight. Now, the goal after I build the website is that, she'll be happy and all that. But first, we need some sort of replication technology because I want this website to be fast for everybody around the world. So, as she is building out the website, it's going to be something akin to WordPress eventually. I'll need to, yeah, write a SQLite replication system from scratch in order to make your website scalable. Yeah. It also needs to be editable and maintainable by her, right? And it probably needs a forum and who knows what else. Okay. So, in order to make SQLite replicate around the globe, we need some sort of system. I was very inspired by Fly.io's LiteFS. I think it was Ben B. Johnson wrote SQLite replication using a fused file system. It has some limitations. Okay. I think it's a fantastic piece of technology. It's great. It's just not for me, right? I need this to scale, right? I mean, it's my wife's website. Why wouldn't I want it to scale? So, yes, a mud and a BBS. Absolutely. Well, that's more for romantic reasons. I met my wife on a BBS. So, absolutely. It'll be WordPress hands down. We are going to commoditize the market. Absolutely. No better sign of love than a truly scalable piece of software. I remember chatting with her on I think it was Emerald Isle BBS. It had 32 nodes. I don't know. All right. Somebody explain to the younger folk what a node is. Um, anyhow, we're writing a VFS so that as the application causes a mutation in SQLite, the VFS, which is plugged into SQLite, it's a virtual file system, gets notified of the change, and we can replicate the change through our system, apply it on different nodes around the world, and other people in, Japan, Australia, India can have fast access to our content. I notice how you run on JavaScript, obviously. Notice something that shouldn't be used for the backend. Uh, it depends on your use case, right? That's great. So, just so you know where we are, in this giant map of software, we are working on the VFS. This here is loaded by, it's a piece of Rust software written in Rust. It is loaded by a C application, SQLite. And so we're currently working on how to manage the memory correctly. And I think that I have not set it up correctly because shutdown isn't going to work. Our drop isn't going to get called because I'm calling malloc. And I think SQLite is just going to dump the memory at the end. All right. So now the entry point for our VFS is here. SQLite 3 reverb. Let's bump that up a little. Coconut Ambassador. I'm not managing the C application's memory. I allocated memory from an API that was provided by the C application. Um, I now believe that I did the wrong thing. Let me show you. Um, so we get, this is our entry point. Okay. SQLite 3 reverb init. And then some stuff happens. We'll go down to where we call new. on reverb here. Now, inside of new, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Okay. We're just going to focus on one itty bitty little piece of it at the moment, which is this allocation. Okay. We figure out how much memory we need allocated for our VFS. Oh, we might not be able to get around this. We'll see. We allocate the memory. Okay. That's the size. Where's our malloc? Oh, here. Here we call malloc. This is the function name that we would like to call, and this is the argument for it. So we get a chunk of memory here, which is fine. Now, I don't know that it's quite correct, though. Because of this malloc, the VFS is not going to have drop called on it. At the moment, that is probably okay. We just have a couple of pointers in there. Pointers to memory that SQLite allocated, and we just hold on to. Let's think, is there a better way? We could simply call new on reverb. That'll give us a chunk of memory. We could get a pointer to it for this section down here. Okay. Oops. So we have reverb VFS. We set a bunch of properties on it. And then at the very bottom, I think we have to call register. So as long as register works, I think we would be okay. We would register it. We would need to store that object. And I think we could store it in someplace like a once lock, similar to what I did here with this telemetry object. And then we're not registering a quote-unquote default VFS multiple times. We have one piece of shared state. Ooh, this may or may not go well, so let's make sure we have we're prepared to roll back if we need to. Okay, buyer, that's fine. Yes, yes. Oh, I kind of want the telemetry bit in there. Let's stash that. Oops, that was too much. Okay, we're going to keep the singular line, this one. Drop reverb state, that's never getting called. Leave it for now. What else? Manually drop, don't care. Not doing that yet. That's the stuff we're going to play with. Telemetry here, we'll keep this. And okay. And this, let's see. Did I get it correct? Remove this. That's fine. It's environment loading. Okay, perfect. All right. Oh, and Coconut Ambassador, thank you for the follow. Zarchild, thank you for the follow. Oh goodness, I've been on mute. I did not find that never type lint. It has not come back. Um, would this get optimized away? There's nothing in this. So a drop, I can imagine, as nothing happens, but then guards and things wouldn't work, right? So this must work. It never gets optimized out. Okay. Okay. No, that's perfect. Okay. Statics don't drop. Interesting. Hmm. Statics outlive main. Ah. Oh, that's a great. Today I learned. That makes complete sense. Okay. There is no main. Exactly. So if there is no way for us to clean up memory, or rather shut something down, let's just verify that it's okay to just see a file handle will be closed automatically. So OS will just drop that. That's fine. These pointers, that's fine. Hmm. The question that I'm thinking of at the moment, what happens if we use the same underlying VFS from multiple threads? I don't know. No, no, no. I think I'm going to leave it because if there is something special that the underlying VFS, the one that's registered before us, has, I don't want to create a choke point. Okay. I say we leave our FIFO in this manually drop, which never gets called. Let's make a note. Does the API provide an unload dinit callback? Not that I saw. Let's check again though. Measured twice, cut once, all that. No unload. And here, Richard Hopp, one of the maintainers, I think, and the primary author of SQLite, okay, says any library unable to deal with an abrupt process termination is broken. Let's see what they did here. Cluster shutdown. Okay, they're registering an at exit. I did not see any at exit with Rust. Here, appears to be the only mention of it. Rust doesn't have an at exit natively. Hmm. You can just call the libc one. Okay. And this would at least let us shut down correctly, deallocate the memory. I wonder if that's going to work. Okay. Let's try that. Do I have libc? No. HIJK. Correctly. It has a lot of problems, yes. Okay, there's our libc. Let's look at our VFS, cargo.toml. No. You'll want to read the glibc man pages for its caveats with regard to reentrancy. Yeah. I was thinking about that because we end up having multiple threads. Hopefully, we'll see. Let's see. Add exit registers the given function to be called at program exit, whether at exit or via return from program's main. Functions so registered are called in reverse order. No arguments are passed. If it's a function located in a library that has been dynamically loaded, it will be called when the library is unloaded due to a call to DL close or at program exit. Okay, well that's good. These functions must not call exit. Okay. At least 32 functions can always be registered, and more are allowed as long as sufficient memory can be allocated. Got it. Hmm. It doesn't talk about reentrancy here, but this isn't the glibc man pages. This is stated 2002 as well. Yeah. They got these out of FreeBSD, right? The Mac ones. They pulled a lot of this stuff from the FreeBSD side. Free and OpenBSD. Got it. Let's play around. Let's see what we can find. So, all right. Hey, Sam, how's it going? Make a note to read what it does on Linux. glibc muscle. Here, let's. Well, that's going to be the runtime target, right? It's some Linux box on fly.io. So let's check. Linux man page at exit. When a child is created via fork, okay. This is very similar. It's called for once for each registration. Red safety. Maybe it's down here. Okay. I'm not seeing that much in here. They're talking about reentrancy. says it's multi-threaded save. So let's try calling that, but what would we call it and do? Let's go to our lib. Where's our lib? Nope, that's the new. Go down to the bottom. Here we go. Let's get rid of foobar. We give it a callback function. Extern C function. Okay. Takes nothing. Let's see if we can get it to blow up. Build it. Hmm. It's not picking up the audio correctly, is it? Am I the only one hearing the music? There we go. Well, normally the music is there. I think I had restarted Chrome after starting OBS, and it was listening to the other process. Okay, well, that's run. Let's just hit Control C. Add exit. Lovely. Okay, let's see, does it happen twice if we get multiple threads involved? Just poke the bear. Okay, now we have thread 2, which should have initialized as well. So we might have 2 of them now. Yes. Good. All right. Now, how many do we want? I vote 1. So if we are going to vote for 1, then we need some way to know that everything's already been initialized. All right. I'm curious. If we change the way that the reverb is allocated and we only set this up once, is it still called for the other threads? As you can see, I just loaded the page and we had a second thread, right? Thread 1, thread 2 here. Now, it looks as though thread 2 was also using the default VFS. So I think this answers our question. We initialize the VFS once, thread 2 automatically picks it up. We don't have to register it twice. As we were set as the global DFS. Sorry, did I say DFS? I meant VFS. Okay. So we only want that registered once, which means that we can return early from subsequent calls to this. Key off of this. Don't like it. And I am still going back and forth in my head with regards to the malloc. Should we even use malloc? That is bothering me. What? Malloc size. It's malloc size. Okay. Cargo. Really? Oh, jmalloc. Let's close that one. Back up. Where's the top of the list? There it is. I want to get rid of malloc. This can be a little touch and go. I've never really done this with Rust. Um, I guess I have. I've taken pointers to objects before. Um, let's say we do this, and then we have some stuff set up in global memory somewhere. Can we deallocate it? Hmm. We can test that first. So here in our at exit, we could get access to our telemetry. So we'll take that. And this is a manually drop. And it's unsafe, of course. Oh, it's a result, of course. Um, or an error. We should definitely check for that. If let OK, telemetry equals, you know what, let's do it this way. I'm okay, telemetry, just unit, because that'll drop it. I thought manually drop said that we had to call manually drop on it. And this is just a telemetry. Heck returns an option. How did it get outside of the manually drop? Unless it's not a manually drop? Oh, it's not. It's just telemetry. I thought, okay. Can't borrow it as mutable. Well, we can. It's just not safe. In this case, we just take it and let it drop, right? In fact, okay. Slog. Can be used in statics, but okay. Many of these functions are nightly only. Well, we could stuff it in an option. Mutable or init. No, no. Into inner? Slot mutex. Got it. Here they're using a once lock. They have a once list, once lock. Need a mutex? It never blocks though. Oh, because we can't modify the t directly. Basically, the option has a reference to immutable t, and that needs to be a mutex, and that gives us interior mutability, of course. Okay. Telemetry. Okay. Cannot find mutex. Sure. Why is it not giving us an error? There should be another error here. Oh, it is. Is there a result? Well, so in this case, I needed the error. And the only way to get something out of this is to either pass something mutable in via shared and then pass that through, or to just return the result. It's not actually accessed anywhere else. So in the case of error, we just return, right? There's an error, the program crashes. Well, it returns gracefully to SQLite, and that call's shut down. Yeah, init can only be called once. It returns the result. That's it, really. Is there a cleaner way to do that? Because we are getting a result. It would be nice if we only stuffed, the actual telemetry object in there. But the error is needed outside of the init. Somewhere else and then on OK set the global. Well, that's a good question because this get on init, um, don't we end up with a talk to race condition here? If we check, we might actually initialize more than once. Initialize may only be called once ever. This isn't lazy lock, is it? It's once lock. So it was the talk to error that, because I think we could check, right, on once lock. We could say get, right? Do we get anything back? And then initialize, right? And I'm sure it's very unlikely that it would that it would have an error for us because of the way SQLite sets these things up. However, if there was a program that initialized two threads at the exact same time, then we would run into the error. This one's nightly. Get or init, that's what we're calling nightly. Into inner consumes it. New set. That's if you can mutate it. I believe so. So get or init. Many threads may call get or init concurrently with different initializing functions, but it's guaranteed that only one function will be executed, which is perfect for what I need. Okay. Static init lock mutex. Yes. We could do that. That's not a bad idea. That actually just having an init lock around, goodness, this whole thing. Oh, it's so simple. I like it. Yeah. There's some mutex, right? We could also store a bool here, right? Or something that contains a bool. Because we want to avoid this whole function if it's already been initialized. Atomic bool at the yeah. It's so true. That's so funny because that's where I started with this whole thing. It was an atomic bool in order to guard around this. And I thought, oh, you know what? I need to. I actually had that, and then it dropped. And okay, I need to store it somewhere static. And I found once lock, and I thought, oh, you know what? I haven't used that before, or just a once. Yes. Hmm. Actually, a once. Why not? A once. It sounds like it was made for it. So we call it once. Now, what does it return? all ones, F or F. Just lets you run a function once and only once. So if I need to handle errors in the initialization, I could have some result. Okay, then. All right, let's do it. Let's use it once. What is the... It's just a once, takes no parameters. If this is getting called multiple times, then I probably want to keep the value that was set in there so it can be returned in future initializations. Because we can't control how many times this is called. Mm. That's why once lock, lazy lock was made. Hmm. Oh, well, actually, if we call once lock, oh, but we need to have our references to these other things. So we could have a once lock that keeps the return value from our init. And then we just get that every time. Then our side effects, we can store somewhere else global and then tear them down at the end. One cell before it got added. Get her trying it. It's nightly. Oh, it's not the same as sync one cell. Oh, okay. Copy link address. Let's take a look. All right. So coming back, considering just having this whole function be called inside of the once, right? Extract this out to some little initializer function called, use a once lock or once cell, in which we can store other things like the telemetry bits, etc., outside. Because at that point, we'll know that it would only be called once, so we don't need to guard the result. But we can shove it into one of those just once. I'm gonna try that. See what that looks like. Tokyo even has its own once cell that predates once lock. That's cool. All right. Okay, so we're going to put this whole thing in here. Init once. Oh, dot get or init. Give it a function. That's going to call something for us. It'll be great. All right. And this here, let's close that. Function init reverb something. Oh, you know what? The error message is not going to be specified. So technically, we need to store two pieces of info, that and the error message. Which is an option. Oh, that's a string. I see standards required to target more OSs or no OS. Makes sense. Init reverb. Great. This is going to clean up the init reverb function so much. We need to pass it only the API routines. Okay. So we do that. We get those pieces of info. And then basically check if the error is 0. or the error message. Are we required to set error message if I think we always will, but mm, like that. Let's say it returns a result. The success case, we get an I32. In the error case, we get a tuple. Differentiates a little bit. All right. Okay. Well, this is no longer an option. Okay. We have our to do. Mismatched types. It's fine. We'll fix that. Okay. What is SQLite error? Internal. Guess we could return any number of these. Let's keep it simple for now. Actually, it is becoming easier. It's either a code or a message. What do we get back from this? It looks like we are taking the error and translating it. It's becoming a string. Okay. Okay, return load permanently on success. In this case, I'm thinking we should return an error type and have it do the conversion. Okay, we have in that case, this just becomes question mark. Back to that. Telemetry init. No, let's do that now. Telemetry. We have to store it, right? We have to store it. Okay. Cannot convert. That's fine. We'll come back to that. Fig snafu. Hmm. Error. Saturday. Okay. Snafu. Result ext. Context with context right there. It's imported. I'll come back to it. Cannot find struct. Oh, it takes one argument. Oh, goodness. Config snafu. Where's error? Config error. That format leak probably should have a to do because it's a real leak. So, um, I was wondering about this. As the API that we are given is to fill this in. I completely understand, but how do we free it? Do we just save it for later and free it when, I don't know, whenever? Okay. I was hoping that SQLite would just free the memory, but we could be using different allocators. And who knows? Okay. Completely agree. I just didn't understand. Um, yeah, it's never a good idea for a C program to free memory it didn't allocate. Yeah, the problem I was having was if we allocated the memory and there was no shutdown, right? How do we actually deallocate it? That that's yeah. Let's see. I want to just make sure. Where was it? Was there SQLite? Oh, that's a good idea. Turning the stir into a box stir. Access. Okay. Oh, it's not this one. Box stir. Box leak. Hmm. I have to do a box. There it is. Perfect. Now you have drop for free by losing ownership, then regaining it. Just perfect. Okay. Okay. We'll save it for later. Okay. Oh, we're coming up on time. Can I find a variant? Config snafu. Why? Did I spell it right? Is it because it's transparent? It was. Wow, interesting. They do not document that as far as I can see. That's what I was looking for, the docs on that just a moment ago. Okay. Yep. So I'll need to go through and update this, but it looks like most of this is simply deletion. Oh, and this. So I call init, getter init. Well, here we would have returned if there was an error. Now we just have mutex to a telemetry to a telemetry object. Mismatch types, telemetry. It's no longer a result. Oh, my fingers are against me today. Okay. Mostly, okay. Then we would take it. Ah, that's right. It's an option. Should have been an option. Okay. There we go. Ideally, you'd use their string formatting malloc but SQLite is likely not designed for that. An area allocator is probably what they were thinking of, where you'd allocate from a static pool that cleans up everything at once at the end. I guess that's possible. And how light is SQLite? It's a pain here. That's not worth it. I only have a couple of things that I have to keep track of, so it shouldn't be too bad. All right. I, oh, there's a new update. Let's look at the changelog. Copy link. Oh, that wasn't it. They opened a browser for me. Highlights, server-side decorations. Okay. IME improvements. Alpha blending improvements. Nice. Nice. All right. Well, I have to run. So we're going to need to raid somebody. I don't know if Musean you're up to streaming today. I got it. All right. Well, we're going to do a quick raid. Let's see who's coding Rust today. Future Highway is. Thank you all for hanging out. It's been fun making little bits of progress every day. So we'll get there. I'll get my wife that website she's always wanted. After I finish shoveling snow. All right, y'all. Till next time. Bye bye. See you, Sam. Take care, Daniel.